I didn't pack much. Just a small bag with the things I knew I'd miss if they were gone forever. A couple of shirts, my watch, the notebook I never let anyone read. I moved quietly through the apartment, careful not to make the floor creak. The city outside the window was asleep, and for the first time in months, my chest felt strangely calm. She was sleeping in our bed, turned toward my side, her arms stretched out as if she still expected me to be there. I stood in the doorway longer than I planned to. I tried to memorize the way her hair fell across her face, the steady rhythm of her breathing. This was the woman I had imagined growing old with. The woman who once promised never to lie to me. But promises change. People change. Earlier that night, she had said my name the way you say it when you're tired of explaining yourself. Like the truth was a burden she shouldn't have to carry alone anymore. She didn't confess outright. She didn't have to. The silences between her words told me everything I needed to know. The late nights, the locked phone, the smile that no longer reached her eyes when she looked at me. I realized then that if I stayed, I would slowly disappear anyway, piece by piece, argument by argument, until I was still there physically but already gone inside. I didn't want that version of myself, so I chose the clean break. No fights, no explanations that would turn into excuses, no dramatic goodbyes that would only reopen wounds. Just absence. I placed my keys on the kitchen counter. For a moment, I thought about leaving a note, something calm, something mature, but every sentence I imagined sounded either too cold or too desperate. Words would only give her something to argue with, something to rewrite later in her mind until she was the victim and I was the villain. Silence felt more honest. I stepped out into the hallway and closed the door without locking it. The click of the latch echoed louder than I expected. I waited, holding my breath, half hoping she would wake up and call my name, half terrified that she would. She didn't. Outside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of rain. I walked without a destination, just letting my feet move. With every step, the weight on my shoulders eased a little. I thought about all the times I had ignored my instincts because loving her felt easier than trusting myself. By the time the sky began to lighten, I was already miles away. She noticed my absence that morning. I know she did. She probably woke up confused, reaching for me, then annoyed, then concerned. She must have checked her phone, expecting a message explaining everything. When she found nothing, I imagined panic settled in. Not the panic of losing me, but the panic of losing control of the story. She called. Once, twice, then again. I didn't answer. Messages followed. Short at first. Where are you? Then longer ones. Accusations mixed with concern. By afternoon, the tone changed. Apologies. Promises. The words she should have said months earlier. I read none of them. I turned my phone off and sat in a small cafe, watching strangers live their ordinary lives. It felt strange to be invisible and free at the same time. Days passed, then weeks. I moved to a different part of the city, found a modest place with bare walls and too much sunlight. I filled it slowly, with books, with plants, with quiet. I learned how to sit alone without feeling lonely. I relearned who I was without constantly explaining myself to someone else. She tried to reach me through friends, through relatives. Some of them told me she was destroyed. Others said she was angry. A few warned me I'd regret leaving without closure. But closure isn't something you give someone else. It's something you decide for yourself. One evening, months later, I ran into her by accident. A grocery store aisle. The sound of my name stopped me cold. She looked thinner, tired, real in a way she never had before. "You just disappeared," she said, her voice shaking. "How could you do that to me?" I looked at her and felt something unexpected. Nothing sharp, nothing heavy. Just a quiet understanding. I realized I had already mourned this relationship while I was still inside it. "I didn't disappear," I said calmly. "I left." She waited for more. For anger. But there was nothing else to say. I wished her well and walked away, my heart steady, my steps sure. For explanations. For the old version of me to come back and carry the weight for both of us. As I lay in my own bed, I understood something clearly for the first time. Sometimes the bravest goodbye is the one you never say out loud. And sometimes leaving without a trace is the only way to truly save yourself.